Right, task 7. So let's start at the beginning, contribution. And we know that contribution is, if you like, that selling less variable costs, right? So it's purely based on, we exclude everything to do with the fixed when we're trying to understand what the contribution is. In fact, contribution means what you're receiving that's contributing towards paying off your fixed costs. So it has to be everything before a consideration of fixed costs. So your break even, at break even, you're not making any profit, right? So it's sort of saying at break even, the number of units you're selling, multiply that by the selling price. So in a way, break even revenue is where you're neither making a profit or a loss. And the margin of safety is very much about, well, what are you planning to sell? So your budget. Um, so it's really your excess of your actual sales over your break even sales, right? Because your actual sales or your planned sales will be greater. You're planning to always sell more, of course you are, than your break even sales. Right, so I've copied that out. So what do we have here? So we have a nice little scenario where they're telling you, listen, you're selling each can. The selling price of each can is a $5. So ultimately, you really want to try and find what the contribution is per can. And really that means to find the contribution per can, I need to find the variable cost per can, right? And the variable cost per can would be for me to focus on all of those variable costs over there divided by the 10,000 cans that are made in the batch, right? So I need to pretty much add those costs together. So it's pretty much add those costs together. 4810 plus 7508 plus 7682, which is 20,000. That's a nice number. That's a 20,000 pound variable cost. So you have 20,000 divided by 10, which gives you £2, right? So that's the aim here. Your aim is always to try and get what's the variable cost per can. Now that you know what the variable cost per can is and you know what you're selling it for, you're making £3 on every can. So you're making £3 on every can, and your fixed overhead is 57,000. So you're thinking, well, how many of these cans am I going to have to sell that will help me contribute to reaching the goal of 57,000? And that must be 57,000 divided by 3, which is, if you're looking for a formula, the fixed cost divided by the contribution per unit, which is the selling price per unit minus the variable cost per unit, right? So 57,000 divided by 3 gives you 19,000. So you're going to need to sell 19,000 cans. Sell 19,000 cans. I mean, this is a natural continuation of that question, because at 19,000 cans, the break-even volume is just the 19,000 times 5, which gives you 95,000, yes? And that's really how you would deal with that. So first of all, find your break-even number of cans and then multiply that by the selling price. Multiply that by your selling price. Okay, great stuff. That's that. So we've done that, and then I think we have a new question here. Right, I've just brought this up. So I think the best thing to do with these questions is to really just try and understand what the question is saying. So it's sort of saying that, listen, when you make a batch of 12,000 cans, right, you get a contribution of £42,000. So I can find what the contribution is per can, right? That's really the case here. This is one batch here, and so I know that for one can, my contribution per can is the 42,000 divided by 12,000 cans divided by 12,000, and that's £3.50. So I'm making £3.50 on every can. That I know. Fair enough, I don't know the selling price or the variable cost, but I know what my contribution on every can is. Now, I also know that at break even, this is an important point. At break even, I'm not making any profits or losses, so I'm just covering my fixed costs, and my fixed costs are 56,000. So I must be, if each can is bringing in £3.50 each can, the question is, how many cans am I selling to make enough contribution to just cover that fixed cost? Because when I get a contribution of 56,000, a total contribution of 56,000, then I'll be able to pay off that fixed cost and make a profit of 0. So the question then, of course, naturally becomes, well, what are my break-even number of cans? My break-even number of cans, therefore, must be 56,000 divided by £3.50. So 56,000 divided by £3.50 is 16,000. That's 16,000 cans. So if I sell 16,000 cans, I will break even. I will just cover my fixed cost. So remember, this figure here, 42,000, was just to help you find out what the contribution per can was. All right. Right. So now you're selling 16,000. You know that at break even, you can do 16,000 cans at break even. And you are currently selling 20,000 cans. That's your target. So you know that your margin of safety really is the difference. It's sort of saying that, listen, we did that in the very first question. You can fall by 4,000 cans and then you'd be at break even. So you have a gap of 4,000 cans. That's your safety net. You're currently trying to do 20,000. So that keeps you 4,000 above water. Right? And that's kind of what's going on there. Now, whenever I explain this bit, the next bit, I prefer breaking it up again as well. Because here's the thing, you know that at break even, you're not making any profit or loss, and you've sold 16,000 cans. We know that at break even. So going forward, I'm making £3.50 on every can after these, right? So if the question says, if you have a target profit of 31,500, they're telling you that here you have zero profit because that's what break-even is all about. And then going forward, well, how many cans am I going to have to sell? Because now I'm keeping all the £3.50, right? Because I paid off my fixed costs. All fixed costs are paid up to here. That was the whole point about break-even. So everything, imagine I did that on Monday, and on Tuesday they're telling me we would now like you to bring in 31,500, where you're getting £3.50 on every can. Well, I'll simply divide the 31,500 by the £3.50. And if I do that, 31,500 divided by £3.50, I get 9,000. So that's 9,000 cans. So I first of all have to make 16,000 cans. And then I have to make another 9,000 so that I not only cover my fixed cost, but I also hit this target profit of 31,500. And so in total, you will have to sell 16,000 plus 9,000 cans, which is 25,000 cans. Cool. Great stuff. And that is question 7.